The Michael Hatfield RE/MAX team presents Real Estate and More.
Bay Area real estate is different than in all of America. And why? What's up with home buyers? What's on sellers' minds? How is the market? And much, much more.
Now, here's your host, Michael Hatfield.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Real Estate and More show. I'm Michael Hatfield, and I'm so pleased to introduce to you the most hardworking power couple on this planet. This lovely couple does not only excel in one business, but in two businesses. They operate a legacy construction business named Gym Builders and a fine Italian restaurant in Danville named Incontro. Gabe and Bernadette are great friends of my family and two of the most authentic people I know, always striving to build better homes and to provide the best Italian fare to their valued customers. Gabe and Bernadette Mufarage, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike, for having us with you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Michael.
Oh, it's good to see you guys. How did the two of you meet in life to come up with such a lovely combination? How did you meet?
Well, our families knew each other for years, and we became good friends in the beginning, and we worked together. And when I first started the business in Fremont, and we got together after a while, and we decided, this could be a great relationship and a partnership. So I took the chance, and she said yes, and here we are.
I'll be darned.
32 years later.
But you knew each other in the old country, correct?
Yes.
And,
yes.
She didn't pay a lot of attention to you back then? Is that how it
Not
worked?
too many people did.
But then when you came to Fremont and you started Gym Builders and it's going pretty great, she was working with you, and you finally said, wow, I don't need anybody else but this young lady.
Exactly. She was a partner from day one, I think.
Well, what's the secret sauce? You've done so very well as a couple, raising three outstanding young people while excelling in business. I mean, how hard is that? That's hard. What's the secret sauce?
Respect for each other's part and role. And we never step over each other's roles. So that's how it's worked. And she gives me my space, and I give her space, because I trust everything that she makes a decision on based on taking care of the family. So that's my take on that one. I don't know what you think.
So tell us about the secret sauce. Let's get the feminine input over here.
I think the way it started all is we were best friends, and we remain to be best friends. We communicate about everything that comes our way. And so I think that's my secret. We were best friends, and we like being together.
So being best friends is always part of having a great relationship when you're going to work together all the time the way the two of you do. And she still does her job in her role in Gym Builders as well as in that second business where we haven't even got to yet. But she still does that role, and both roles. My gosh, how daunting is that for a young lady like your bride?
So we call her the superwoman.
She sure is. She sure is.
I tell you, a woman, like her, she goes to the business, she takes care of both businesses, plus the house, plus, I feel lazy compared to what she does.
Jeez, I know. We admire you a lot for all you do in both businesses. Early on as an airline pilot, I knew right away I was going to need two careers. And so because the airline business is cyclical and it'll lay you off, then you don't have an income. And so that's why I had a way of getting an income for my family to feed my family. But somehow I sensed that your second business was driven by another reason. What would that be? Why would you have another business when you already had a successful one?
Well, we love entertaining. We love the hospitality. And we took over on that business as to have something to really have fun with and be out of the house, be around people, and we enjoy that hospitality. So anytime that we could engage with other couples sitting, at a table or at the bar having a drink, it's so much fun for us. It seems like we rather be at that area than making even money in those businesses. It's personal.
Yeah, it's like family.
Yes.
You extend your family and you make it part of you, and you have large family as it is. You've raised 3 wonderful young people, all of which are extremely successful. I thought one of them was going to be our next president. I mean, he's so social and so smart, and the other one serving our country in the military. And then you got one of those Michelin chefs also in the family. I mean, how well can you raise 3 children, operate 2 businesses, and do all of it so well? Bernadette, I'd like to hear from you. You're entirely too quiet.
Oh, Michael. Well, what can I say? We're truly blessed. It takes a village, is what we tell the kids and what we tell our family. So yes, we raise them, but we have a tremendous support with our extended family and friends who become family, like you, Michael and Nancy. And they're great kids. So, you can offer them everything that you wish to offer them, but if they don't take advantage of it and get their education and work hard, it won't matter what you give them. So we're blessed with that.
You are, and they're wonderful people to be around. Very wonderful people. So I have a question. Let's get back to Jim Builders for a minute. What type of building does Jim do? I mean, what is your forte? What is your specialty?
We do residential and commercial, and what we do is design build. So if somebody needs a design and lead them through the process to get their permits, their engineering, everything. So we offer all of that services in Gem Builders, and then we build it. We hand them a nice key at the end, and we celebrate with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All of the process now involves a lot of your time as a contractor, and so you go in to build a home. You've got to get your permit. That requires the plans and the engineering and all of the other inputs that you have to have. Then you finally get your permit, you start to build. What is the process of building a new home, so our listeners can learn a little bit about how it works? What's the first thing you do? You go get your permit, then you've got your plans, and
you find a good contractor that you can trust. Make sure you do diligence in finding somebody, not finding the lowest price, but finding the right contractor for your needs. Otherwise, it won't work. You'll struggle. It won't be a fun project for you if you don't have the right person next to you. Because it takes a lot, and once you start a project, you have many things that you have to go through, between picking materials, dealing with the city, dealing with the inspectors, engineers, suppliers. So it's a big process, and when you decide to do something like that, make sure you are comfortable and feeling that this person that's gonna be building this house for you is one that you trust, and he's gonna become a friend, or she's gonna become a friend, because you're gonna spend a lot of time with them. An average home, it takes a year to build, so you want to have that relationship with that person.
I tell people looking for real estate agents that don't use cousin Susie that just got her license. Use somebody with some experience like Jim Builders, and then once, as you're going through the process, I know that Bernadette is she's a designer. She knows exactly what are good materials to go in to build the bathrooms, the kitchen, and all those areas, as well as appliances. She's like a right-hand person to what you do. So not only do they get an experienced builder with Gym Builders, they get a couple that is dedicated to the client. And that is something that is of tremendous value if you're going to build a home, because it's not easy.
I tell you, Michael, I wouldn't have never been so successful without her.
Wow.
Because she takes like 60% of the, I gotta give to her, because she's the one that does all of that. And as you know, you have Nancy, she's on your right hand there. She's the same way. I mean, I start from early morning and I hammer and hammer until the end of the day, but she's right there beside me.
Yeah.
I get the fun job.
Yeah.
You're not really hammering anymore, though, are you, Gabe? Not you personally. Don't you have many workers that take care of that for you, and many subs that do that?
Yeah, I mean, not hammering as in tools, hammering as in all on the phone with her constantly all day. You know, we're dealing with a lot of, people that warehouses, cities, and so she is always there. She's right there with me, and without her, there's no way we would be this successful.
We're going to take a short break. Be back in a moment.
RE/MAX.
If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling a home, call the Michael Hatfield RE/MAX team at 925-322-7775. That's 925-322-7775. Or visit michaelhatfieldhomes.com. That's michaelhatfieldhomes.com. Now back to our show.
Now, with material prices jumping the way that they have, what would you say in the last 3 to 4 years? Really a lot? Or what's your take? What's your read?
Well, it's just everything's went up. I mean, like lumber went up 300%. And then they say, oh, it went down. Now it went down 15%.
Yeah.
But again, it's anytime the fuel, the gas, goes up, all materials go up, because again, they have to move this product, they have to perform, all the manufacturing, and everything takes fuel. So we have issues like right now, it's just diesel has gone up about 40% from May. So it's gone so bad that a lot of the suppliers, they're not shipping unless they have a complete full trucks. So here you are waiting for materials, first of all, and the prices are outrageous anymore.
So you got to be on top of that all the time. And who actually ascertains when those products ship that you've already ordered? Is that something Bernadette does?
Bernadette follows up on a lot of the materials, hey, we order the material, we make sure it's gotten on a truck, make sure it's routed to the right place. I mean, she follows up on everything. Yeah.
And Bernadette, when do you become really involved with picking out tile, picking out backsplashes, appliances, things such as that? When do you in a process of building a home? At what point do you become really engaged with it?
After the framing usually is up is when I get together with the client and start picking out the finished products. You don't want to do it too soon in advance. Stock changes, dial-out changes, trends change. So best to do it closer to when we need it. And we gauge that by the lead time of the material. So cabinets right now, for example, are taking, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. We make sure we're talking about the selection, which takes a little process.
Yeah. Now, when you say that, don't you have your own showroom? Don't you have a way to meet with the client and show them exactly what's available? I know how you did before.
So right now we don't have a showroom. We used to have a showroom in Pleasanton and a showroom in Fremont. And then we recently, during COVID, we closed it down because we really didn't need it. But we have some showrooms that we used which is suppliers that we deal with all the time. So we use their showroom. That's what the reason they have the showroom for dealers like us.
That's a daunting job, to go and you pick out and all of those things that you pick out to go in your bathroom or in your kitchen. And they're all subjective. One person might like it 1 minute and then the next day say, I don't think so. I want to go some other direction. And so you have to really nail that down. And I can see where it could be like a slippery fish to try to hold in your hands, just trying to keep it nailed down in the process. And
I think that's the hardest part for clients, for customers, is they don't really know what they want. So we try to listen. What is it that they want, and then direct them in that direction. Show us inspiration pictures, give us a design look that you have in mind, and then we go from there. Yeah.
And that's your role. That's what you got to do.
That's the fun part.
I think I want his role. I'll go pour concrete. So you were pouring a foundation this morning.
Yes.
And tell us about that foundation. How is that foundation constructed, just to educate some of our listeners?
Well, we build in a lot of the ADUs in town, and today we poured one foundation, and it takes really craftsmen to pour a foundation that's perfectly level, that you're not going to have an issue later on with these foundations. So with the building and creating a nice frame, and it's easy. See, if you start with a bad foundation, everything is gonna be like follow. So today we poured about 60 yards of concrete here in town, which turned out really great. And we have some great guys that work with us, some great craftsmen, and we couldn't do it without them. They're just a great bunch of guys. Yeah.
And the foundation was it pier and grade beam, or was it slab?
No, this was a slab with a footing. Yeah. So it was, and it takes about 3 weeks to get it set up, and then today we poured it. So Monday we'll start framing. We'll strip the forms and then we'll start framing it.
How cool is that? Back before 1960, they didn't even use hold-down bolts that were in the concrete to where you put the sill plate on. They didn't even use those. So every time that we sell a home, we have to make certain that there's those hold-down bolts in the actual foundation that secures the sill plate to that foundation. And if not, we have to disclose it or the seller has to disclose that to the buyer. So nowadays everything is of that nature.
So when they went from no bolts to overdoing it, right?
Yep, to mini bolts.
Yeah, so we put a lot of hold downs and J bolts and everything's just, it's over engineered, but it's okay. It's better to be safe than not be safe.
A lot of our clients are always concerned about what's the condition of the appraisal or the foundation. What is the condition? There's cracks down there. It's reported in the home inspection or the pest inspection. Sometimes we report them, and the cracks in the foundation could mean something of significant nature, could mean very little, depending on the nature of, is it a vertical crack, is it a horizontal crack, the size of it, because inside what really takes a lot of the pressure is the rebar framing inside there that goes down into the piers. It's quite an interesting thing that the structural engineer has to come up with in order to make that work.
Well, 90% of the cracks in the concrete is a normal occurrence. Yeah. There's one thing they say in concrete, we can guarantee you one thing is concrete's going to crack. But, of course, there's certain cracks and another certain cracks.
Yeah.
So you have to, when an engineer or an inspector sees, so they'll know if there's a lot of stress on that foundation, if it's just a normal cracking, Yeah.
Well, I have to say that it's really a pleasure talking about your business the builder business, but one of the businesses I really like is the one that we're looking at the CEO right there with those pretty dark eyes. She does a magnificent job at Incontro Ristorante. It's at 455 Hartz Avenue down in Danville. They've been there for a long time. Through COVID, through all of that, they've constantly improved the restaurant, made wonderful Italian fare for the customers, pick out the finest wine. I know I tend to go there once in a while with my bride. But our first question is Bernadette took over running that thing, and you're like the secondary chief on there, and she has done magnificent. I
agree 100%.
Yeah, it's a daunting job.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Gabe.
I know that Gabe gets up in the morning pretty early and he goes and does his thing, which you help him with, and then you report to the restaurant throughout the day and a little bit later in the afternoon, and you're there for dinner. It's just been a wonderful place for us to go. We feel like extended family when we go there. I suggest all of our listeners give Incontro Ristorante a shot. Who picks out all of the dishes on the menu? Who decides what to use at the restaurant? Who decides that?
Many of the dishes that are on the menu have become so popular that we can't change them. So it leaves very little place to change the seasonal ones that we do need to change. So we go by seasonal ingredients. That's how it's a collaborative effort between the whole team. But we do use seasonal ingredients, things that are looking good, some wonderful items from our great purveyors that get suggested to us. We give them a try. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm. And my job is to test.
And we taste them and decide what goes on the menu. Yeah.
I agree.
But it's normally you, is it not?
It's a collaborative effort.
Yeah, listen
I
to
can't
how
take the credit for all of that.
Humble she is.
No.
Yeah, well, you put one on the menu just recently. It was penne, and it had some sea bass in there.
Yeah,
oh my gosh!
That was again a collaborative effort. Chef came up with that. We had a different fish in there originally, and then we looked for something that would fit that dish better, and our wonderful seafood supplier suggested this sea bass. So,
and the chef's been there a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
12 years.
Yes.
12 years. Yeah, just unbelievable. 12 years. I'm not even that old. But and then on the wines, who discovers those wines?
That's a fun job that I get to have. I sure love that. And myself, our front of the house manager, Antonio, and Gabe, we sample them. We meet with our vendors and come up with things that are a little bit unique to put on the menu, such as some imported Italian wines that some people don't know about. So it's kind of nice to put something on the menu and introduce new wines to people, as well as very familiar wines.
And it pairs well with our food.
Right.
She has a good palate for
She knows what she's talking about. Absolutely. Was COVID time pretty rough for everybody in town? I think so.
Everybody.
I think so.
Yeah,
everybody suffered. We care about our employees and everybody. A lot of some employees collected from all the restaurants and all the businesses. But when a business like a restaurant, they depend on tips, and so they got hurt. Everybody got hurt in the area, and thank God it's over. Hopefully we'll never have to see something like that happen in this country. But, we survived it, and we have great followers.
Absolutely.
And I tell you, the community is rallied behind us and came back, and they supported the businesses. So it feels really good to live in this area and have the community come together and support each other,
It does.
Yeah.
So what are you most proud of, Bernadette, with Incontro Ristorante?
What am I most proud of? The guest experience. Anything that we can do to make the guest experience wonderful and memorable. is what we're proud of. I love our team. I'm very proud of our team that creates that. We just couldn't be in a better location in downtown Danville, right on Hartz Avenue, with parking in the back. I mean, it just makes me delighted.
Music.
The live music on the pad.
Yes. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And don't miss the Sunday brunch. It's one of the best that I've been to. That's probably why that I indulge a little bit too much in those Sunday brunches. Just phenomenal. It's a really beautiful restaurant. We really enjoy it so very much. But you work so hard with both of these businesses. What do you do if you have a day off? What do you do?
We love spending time with family. We love gardening. We love a couple of hobbies that we've picked up. Shooting. That's great. But you don't take a lot of time off. You put a lot of time. What is the motivation to work so hard the way you two do?
Well, we are the reason we do it, not just for us, for our family, it's just we have a responsibility of approximately 60 employees between the two businesses, and you cannot put your guard down and have people without a job. And these people are like our family. So they've been with us for years. I mean, in the restaurant, 12 years there. In the construction business, they've been about 30 years. So some of the employees in the construction company, their kids work for us now, and it's been like not just the immediate family you're working for, but you want the other people around you so you can. They do well. They buy homes. We try to keep that. And if you don't work so hard to keep the employment of these families, it'll break our heart.
Yeah. Well, I asked my wife to come up with some descriptive words to describe what we think of you two, each of you. She used the terms dedicated, innovative, grateful, sincere, and a very special, lovely couple. So with that, we're out of time, but I'd like to say a big thank you to our power couple, Gabe and Bernadette Mafarage, for sharing with us how they operate two highly successful businesses. Should anyone wish to contact Gem Builders, easy to find online or in they're easy to find. And for reservations at Incontro Ristorante, it's at 455 Hartz Avenue in Danville. Look up the number. It's worth it. You're listening to Real Estate and More, and we'll be right back with our next special guest. Thanks again, Gabe and Bernadette. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for having us with you.